We'll call our lovely student here and teach them the ways of the Zerg. Sire? Yo. Welcome. So you have party lead, whichever replay you want to fire up. You can click watch with others, and then once we're in the lobby, you can promote me to host so I can pause and stuff.
Okay. See if I can remember one of these. That'll work.
Let's go. So, just to kind of go over some of the notes you sent me originally here, one of the things that we're wanting to help you with is the stress level that you're getting whenever you're playing the game, to keep things happy and fun, especially against, I feel like Terran. Terran is a very stressful faction to play against because their fundamental that allows them to harass you as a Zerg is the mule drop. So they get a bonus of extra minerals over you, and they're going to try to stab you with something with those mineral spikes, usually either Marines or Hellions, or they could be greedy and get a third orbital. But that's basically the question that you want to start with in a Zerg versus Terran is, are they playing Hellions or Marines at the start? And I will type out some notes for you just for like general build stuff that I see, because the more of a plan that you have, the less stressful this game is to play, because you have a clear goal in mind. I think whenever there are a bunch of unknowns, it's spookier, you don't really know what you should be doing, but you know you should be doing stuff very fast. That's one of the really taxing things about SC2, is you know there's always more to do, but it's not always obvious what you need to do.
Yeah.
So you go 17 pool, 17 hatch. Is that just for safety?
Yeah, I've been doing that in ZvT and ZvP pretty much every game.
Yep, it's not bad.
But sometimes they let me get a free Reaper and CC kill, and that's always fun.
Yeah. Main thing is just make sure you don't get supply blocked after it. This build is pretty good, so I wouldn't discourage you for going for this build. It does give you a lot of information early too, and it steals the momentum from the Terran.
That's exactly why I started doing it. Like, I used to just hatch first, but there's just so many like cheesy Terran openings that I feel like I'm always on the back foot on, but this kind of allows me to just dictate the pace of the early game a little bit more.
Absolutely. And for chat, this is Diamond 1, so you probably play against Masters some of the time?
Some.
Cool. So you're pulling off gas, getting ling speed. I would personally just pull fully off gas here. Main reason is because you're going to want to get 7 queens, a third base, and 70 drones, and all those things are mineral only investments. So the sneaking in of 1 additional worker of gas isn't really going to change too much unless you're going for overlord speed or something after ling speed. Also, your expansion pattern for this map, what I would recommend is going this way. 3rd, into this 4th, into this 5th. The gold base is very strong.
Yeah. I usually do that on this map, I think just because the linear 3rd is too close, and so it's easy for him to kind of siege his way into. If that's, I don't know if that's your reasoning.
The main reason I do it is just because the 4th back here is really hard for them to get to, because they have to mine through the mineral patches to get over there or drop you with it, and it only costs 1 worker to mine through the patch on your side of things. Great harass. This is taking a lot of their attention. One of the things that you can always just think about as a general fundamental in StarCraft 2 is APM efficient trades. That's the concept of you exert fewer clicks compared to theirs. I feel like your opening build is a build that could give you an opportunity for that, where you distract them, you make them uncomfortable. You just need to make sure that your droning and your overlord management behind is good. And so far it looks great. You're not supply blocked, you're getting creep. Your queen in the main is about ready. Great opening. You're definitely in control of this match. So they have 2 barracks and a factory and a base. This build has been pretty rare lately. at least in my games. Yeah, it's almost always Hellion openings lately. Then you go starport, so it should be double medevac marine. Okay. Then the next main timing that I would just say gives you a ton of safety. Say ZvT here. 340 Roach Warren. This is just a very wise investment. It doesn't really cost you that much. Normally you're floating about that much money at this time anyway, because your income is really picking up. So getting that 340 Roach Warren just in the wall. In this case, they're not going to hit you with it, so it's fine. And if you did see that it was Mass Marine, you could forego Roach Warren and just make 30 lings and a bunch of queens. But 340 Roach Warren, if you're ever unsure of what's going on, that's going to give you almost immunity to Hellbat all-ins, which are fairly common. And then another thing to adjust here just for your macro flow, you're at 350 in. If we look at your main base here, one really mechanically easy way to help you get to 3 base saturation is to keep the rally point in the main to the main and then refill the gas and take a second gas, because you still need a lot more workers in this main base. You have 15 right now, but you need the 16 on minerals, plus 2 more in the gas at the top, plus 3 more in the gas at the bottom, plus the extractor, plus a spore. So the main base needs to be droned a lot more. So I'm just gonna write down 350, change rally point.
So do you often overdrone the main just to be able to get all this built?
Yes, absolutely. That's one of the big differences between pro Zergs and non-pro Zergs, is they really hit that red line. Think of like a car redlining, where you think that it's bad, but it needs to happen for you to go as fast as possible. Whenever that number in your worker saturation goes past 16, that's a good thing. You should feel good about that. I was actually kind of arguing with the StarCraft dev team whenever they changed it, mainly because having 17 workers or 18 workers or 19 or even 20 or 21 on minerals is still good, and it's still giving you value. It's still boosting your income, and it gives you some room to snag a gas and then fill it. And if you have 21 workers, you take a gas, you're down to 20 on minerals. You fill the gas, you're down to 17 on minerals. You make a spore, you're at 16, which is the perfect number. So in this early game phase, before they've really hit you with big stuff, you want to make sure those drone counts are just really slammed into the minerals, and then you can fix it with the gases and stuff after. So think about it like holding down the gas pedal. Droning is your gas pedal, and you really want to flood your bases with a ton of drones, and you can always fix it after. Make an extractor, make a spore, make your evos. Going above 16 is very good. Okay, so I'm typing 350 change worker rally of main to main to get up to 2 gas. Your lair timing is great. You are droning, which is good. Third base is coming up here. Okay.
I definitely forgot a Baneling Nest or Roach War in this game. I don't know. There it is.
Yeah, you could even get it at the same time as the Roach Warren. I'll put that as a note. Roach Warren or Bane Nest. Technically, both of those are fine. You just need something to deal with Hellbats. Oops. Hellbats or large numbers of units. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Your macro is pretty good for going for a pool first opening. Got some solid fundamentals. They are playing nice. This is the relatively easier to deal with because the Marines are just sitting in the base right now instead of like Hellions jabbing at you. As a rule, whenever a Marine is shooting an Overlord, just make 2. And then I would say 5-minute spores at the latest, just because sometimes they'll throw in a Widowmine drop. If you know that it's a Marine opening like this, the way that I would place the spores is at the main drop points. So if you just look at your base on the minimap, the main drop points for them to hit you would be here or somewhere over here. Those are the most likely. They could also try something right here. So I would put the spores in a sort of triangle formation around your territory. where the back of your base is pretty safe because there isn't that much dead space on this map. But if you have one spore that's like just to the right of the Vespene geyser in the main, so it can protect the geyser and it'll shoot medivacs if they try to go toward your drones. And then you can have your queens pivot to whichever base needs help. And then maybe one spore that's like on the upper left side protecting these extractors there. You're getting your fourth base here. 46 workers, it's pretty good. You delayed their build by quite a bit. This drop should be already hitting, but because you did your 6 lane opening, they got pretty off balance. Very nice. How many queens do you have? Okay, we are under queened pretty severely. That's a great find. Try to get 7 queens
7, yeah.
ASAP. Yeah. 7 ASAP. That's where the money that you have in minerals would go to. So we've accounted for that. And then queen should always focus the medivac. Do you know why?
So you can't run away?
That's true. Also because queen damage is higher against air than it is against ground. If you just mouse over the queen in-game.
I don't know if I knew that.
Yeah, the air damage is 9, range 7. The melee damage is 4, range 5. So they actually do way more damage against air, and they have more range against air. So their effective DPS and being able to deal with stuff is so much better attacking the air units. So basically the mindset is your queens click the medivac, and then your lings protect the queens. Okay. You are mega ahead right now. If you ever pass 1,000 minerals, drop a double macro hatch.
Yeah, I think I floated a bunch while I was chasing his medivacs around and not macroing.
Yep, very common thing. Nothing to be too ashamed of. I do the same thing sometimes. But the double macro hatch is super good for catching up if you fall behind a little bit in larva. And it just means that you're going to be generating larva over the course of the game. Like, look at the replay length. This is a 17-minute game. If you had the double macro hatch that you dropped right now, that's like fucking 200 lings worth of larva over the course of the game, at least, which is pretty scary for them. And I would also just make it a priority to open up this access point for yourself, just so they don't like put siege tanks on the other side and then it gets really awkward trying to defend. So we can drone a lot faster. You are still droning though. How many lings do we make? I think you may have overmade lings. You have 57 lings. It's not a big deal. You'll use them later.
Part of that might have been because he never took his third, so I was just being careful.
Yeah, that's valid. There are a lot of 2-base all-in, so if they did go for that, you'd be in a better spot. Cool, you're getting 1-1, you have Bane speed, getting Hydroden. Tidy up that saturation. The 10 out of 16 in the natural and the 13 out of 16 in the main are both missed value. The analogy that I've given for base saturation is it's kind of like if you've secured a lease on a restaurant, you would want to make sure that all the areas of that building are being used. So for this main base here, there are like 3 more tables that you could fit in there and then be serving more customers and be getting more value. And you've already protected this location. You have 2 spores in the main. I love this spore on the right. That's really nice. You've got a queen in there protecting it and injecting it. So just getting 3 more workers of income up there. They're not going to be able to punish that, and you're going to be that much stronger. Target drone count, do you know what you normally shoot for?
85.
85, that's great. Oh my gosh, this is so disrespectful what they're doing. Oh, the spore gets it. Love that. Love to see that punish. Queen's right-click medivac. You have 1 macro hatch. Cool. Sweet. Okay, this is a big fundamental. I'm going to put this in bold. Spam a unit in production while you trade. We saw this happen twice, so that means that it's a general thing that if you, basically as you're going in, think about it like just before you go underwater, you take a deep breath. Your deep breath as a Zerg is injecting all 3 bases, or all 4, and then making units with your production, and then have fun with your micro. So inject, produce, micro would be the order there. Because if you did that, a lot of your mineral bank would have been spent. You still have a lot of larvae here. You could probably just kill them if you're able to get this mineral converted into lings. Oh, this is reminding me of another key thing with ZvT. You can't kill them before hive tech, almost ever, unless they move out and you stab their natural with links. So the main ways you win, just looking at win conditions in ZvT. Win condition 1 would be hive tech, 3/3, adrenal, ling bane, ultra corruptor. That can oftentimes just outright kill their army and kill them. Another way to do it is Terran attacks you with tanks and you steal command all lings around side of map into their base. Do you use the add to control group and remove function?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. So for a fight like this, you may be able to trade well here. But generally speaking, whenever they're at their tier 2 tech and we have Lingbane Hydra, we can't usually kill them. It's just not really in the cards for us. They can't kill you, but you also can't kill them because then they get siege tank defense, and this causes them to take a really good trade. So just kind of looking at the game state before you commit to this and what they have available, I would think we would check off a few more key boxes before we really commit to a direct fight. Because we have 72 workers, which is decent, but not crazy high. Before you push, this is the procedure. Okay, so you have a bunch of stuff here. You have vision of this 4th here. Good job, Overlord. You do not have vision of this base here. If you realize that you have 4 to 5 bases and they have 3, you should sit on your hive tech transition. So let's write out some gas spending here. You're going for ling speed into lair into bane speed. I guess there's a bane nest before before lair.
Yeah,
Nest.
I think I have gotten better about this. This is how I lost like every game in platinum before I became a diamond. Like it was always just, you know, build up a big army, attack, and if I won, I won, and if I lost, they would counterattack and the game would be over. And so I've gotten better at kind of like just being patient, but
That's good.
it still happens.
Hydrogen infestation pit, hive, 3/3, ultra cavern, adrenal, chitinous, and then spire. Okay, that's gas spending order. The faster that goes, the more powerful your power spikes are going to be. I'm just going to send you what I have so far, and I can edit it as we go. So your notes. Cool. So you have map dominance. Congratulations. You're a Zerg with 194 supply against a 150 supply Terran. Tail is old as time, but they have a nice bit of tanks here. So basically the way that we win is we wait until they go for a 4th, because right now they get to put everything in one clump and not even really micro, and they're going to be taking efficient fights just based on where they are. The main way that we can punish them as a Zerg is by doing what? Expanding.
So yeah.
So this base is free to you right now, and this base is also free. So these are really good things to just throw down when you float money. Instead of double macro hatch, you can also take a 4th and a 5th at the same time. But you're in the driver's seat. You should make sure that you have upgrades cooking before you commit. But I wouldn't even plan to commit with this this tier of army, because they get to have everything at home. I would just fall back, break these rocks, open up the map, hover over your drone count. You have 79. You could do a little bit more. Worker, get your 2/2, use lings to save yourself gas. One thing that Cyril does against Terrans who play Biotank is he makes 2 Vipers. right as soon as his hive is done. I would challenge you to try to get a relatively faster hive time. I'm working on that as well. He'll get his hive at sometimes 6:30. He starts it because he's crazy good. But for mortals like us, if we get our hive started by about 9 minutes, that gives us a really strong ultra transition that's relatively early. And we have faster access to adrenal glands. Adrenal glands is one of those hidden upgrades that it doesn't look that impressive when you just look at it. Increases attack speed of Zerglings by 40%. But this was buffed from Heart of the Swarm to Legacy of the Void. It used to give 18% attack speed. So they buffed this a lot from what it used to be. I was in a team house with a Zerg player named Violet, and whenever they put this in the game, he couldn't even believe it. He was like, Zerg is just going to be too broken now. Because that's a really, really, really strong upgrade. Because you're adding that on every single unit in the game. This is another just Zerg fundamental. The Zergling is probably the coolest unit for benefiting from upgrades, because you get 2 units hit with an upgrade for every larva of Ling that you make. So for every 50 minerals, you've got 2 little dudes. So every 25 minerals, you have a Zergling that benefits from 1/1, 2/2, 3/3, and adrenal glands. So if you have 85 Lings right now, 85 units would get adrenal glands. That's a huge damage increase for your army overall. So really try to get that adrenal glands upgrade on the table as fast as you can. Lings are super good. Look at this harass. Beautiful. And then fall back. That was a great delay. Now you immediately fall back. If you trade with this, your Bane count is too low to trade well, and you're off creep, and they have tanks in the back, so I would guess this would be better for them. They're not really microing their stuff. And then another thing for Lingbane Hydra, fall back with Lingbane Hydra when the Lingbane is about to be gone. You want to trade the Lingbane and keep the Hydras. Same thing as Terran, sometimes they'll trade out their Marines and then retreat with their tanks and their medivacs, just to conserve the gas units, because gas is a little bit harder to come by. You're still in command of this game, but with the current pattern, the Terran's going to be taking efficient trades defensively over and over again. So just by having more upgraded stuff and hitting with the tier 3 as your main plan, that's going to give you way more power to just knock them over. Running at their 3rd is what you might do here, yeah. Cool. So try, as a general thing, stealing some Lings and sending them to a different base from where their army is. I give you that challenge just whenever you're playing ZvT. 12 Lings, send it at a base. 8 Lings, send it at a base. Even 85 Lings. As an example, if you had your Hydra Bane and you posture right here, right where this sensor tower area is, and you walk into that area, you're playing in Diamond right now. Almost no one is going to be using 2 prongs as a Zerg. So if you want to expand on your mechanics and stuff and also just double your opportunities to deal damage, many players will just hard fold if you give them 2 things to juggle. Look at this 3rd base. Look at how disrespectful it is. As a Zerg player, I'm offended at this base. They have no bunker with units in it. They have no tank. They have no planetary. They have a bunch of juicy SCVs and a sensor tower with 2 command centers with SCVs that could be easily killed. So the way that you would just like close this game right now would be to get your Hydra Bane, no Lings, just right here, with 0 intention of stepping forward at their planetary.
Yeah.
And then you have 85
Lings. Come
Lings.
defend.
Yeah. If you have 85 Lings that go run at this, that base is swept in under a second with adrenal glands. Win condition 3, fake push at the 4th, and Ling flood the 3rd. Almost no Terran at your level is going to be able to handle that. And then they'll complain about the matchup. Okay, now they're maxed. Do we have ultras? Oh, lurkers, that's cool. Lurker is also valid. You just want to make sure you get a couple Vipers to help them. Ooh, remember that thing we said about sending the lings at the third? This is a beautiful time to do that. Absolutely beautiful time to do it. They have some reinforcement units kind of by their natural. But taking all your lings and running them at the third is very strong. You don't want all your eggs in one basket, you want to put them in 2 baskets. So that was a bad tank move by them. Getting +2 ranged, +3 armor, you got adrenal, you got both lurk upgrades. You're in charge of this game so far. And still, this offensive third base is allowed to exist. Oh my god, they're doing this. You can nickname your Ling run by squad the Greed Police, because as a Greed Policeman, looking at their setup, it's pretty wrestling. Yeah, they get you right at the Ultra transition before the Chitinous is ready. Man. This kind of game is relatively tilting, just to empathize with you for a minute, because you were on their side of the map doing all the work for like 15 minutes, and then that wasn't enough efficiency and damage to where now they're able to just like kind of do one simple push and kill you. So basically, they got away with being able to have all their eggs in one basket and to be up against the ropes and have all their tank and bio defend your tier 2 Zerg, so that by the time they get their 3-3, they end up being in the driver's seat and they can just push over and win. So the lesson is, Terrans, basically almost any opponent at your level, wants to play a little kid soccer game. They want you to have all of your dudes in one clump and fight all of their dudes in one clump. That's what they desire in their heart. But what you desire is a greed punishment team that goes and sorts out these nasty moves that they're getting away with, that they don't deserve to get away with. Awesome. Wow, even mannering out too. Respect. Respect it.
I don't always do that.
Yep, that's okay. No one is perfectly mannered all the time. I've even said some cheeky things now and then. Well, sweet. So the main things from that one, spam units while you trade, that's going to be massive for you. And then just the fixing the rally point from the main to main at 350, and then just hammering that drone button, and then getting the second gas at about 4 minutes to 4:30. I'll add that in the timing for it. That'll give you enough gas to afford lair, 1-1, and then keep teching up, but you're still making mostly lings during that phase. Editing this message in the notes. Cool. You can load up the next one.
Find another good one here.
350, change the rally point to the main. Get up to 2 gas. Get up to 7 queens ASAP, plus 1 overseer with them. Cool.
Okay, so I think I won this game, but I'm sure there's some things to learn.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a win is fine, as long as it's a relatively longer game.
Yeah.
I've only really had some bad faith replays, like twice. I had one student who was like, I really don't know what to do against this Protoss all-in, and it was just like an Immortal Sentry all-in, and they droned to the perfect amount, and they just smashed the attack. And I was just looking at the game, and I was like, I don't know what you want me to say. You did a good job? High five.
Yeah. So, sorry, I can't.
You're good?
I guess the one I was going to pull up won't work, but
If you don't have another one, we could play
Yeah.
a ZvT as well. Oh, you got one. Cool. Sweet.
Yeah, we can do that next if you want. If we
Sure.
still have time.
Sure. What's the backstory of your name?
So I used to be in the Marines, and now I'm a physician, so Med Marine.
That's awesome.
Also StarCraft. Even though I play Zerg.
You used to lay down the damage, and now you help people recover from the damage. Balance in all things. I like the 16 pull build. I go for this a lot if I'm against someone who's lower MMR than me, especially in ZvZ, just because it cuts out so many silly builds.
I like it the most in ZvP.
They block your base the most in ZvP, so it's really mechanically awkward to take the third.
It's the one thing I struggle with in ZvP is against really good players. They know that I'm droning really hard to make up for it, and so they'll come out with like adepts and things that they can micro really well with and just mess me up.
Yeah. Adept is probably the highest skill expression unit Protoss has in the early game. Whenever I play like a GSL player, they can just kill me with adepts pretty much every time, because the juke potential is really high with the shade cancel. Oh, they fly their building at you. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a personality read. This tells you that they're playing very defensive. So you should, generally speaking, like go for a really drone heavy response to that, because they gave up a lot of their income time by flying that building, and they have the bunker in the wall already, which shows that they're kind of scared. They were probably recently cheesed by a Zerg. They're trying to stay safe. So
Yeah, the bunker and the killing my overlord smells like battle cruisers to me.
Yeah. I agree. So getting that 7 queen post haste is very important. So far so good. You're getting your third. Oh, you're expanding the way that I recommended this time.
Yeah, I take the linear third on most maps, so sometimes on this one I just forget.
What's his MMR? This is Diamond 1.
Yeah, it's like 3.8 or something.
Top Diamond.
I think this guy has like 350 APM.
The funny thing is Diamond 1 players at this bracket have the same APM as GMs. The only difference is doing the correct moves instead of random shit. I'm serious, it's about the same. Okay, going for the 4th. Oh, the drone doesn't know he can't get through. Oh, you're gonna break this. I'll just mine through the minerals. Okay, so the main base, we're gonna be rallying the main to the main, and that's gonna look much better. Not 12 out of 16, that's a big problem. You have 1 spore per base, which is great. 4 queens, cool. So far, you're in a fine spot. Once again, a fairly passive opening from Terran. Double Viking? Each day we learn new things. Never seen this before. Armory and an NG bay. So they're playing mech. Cool. Drones, what are we producing? 16 lings, I guess just to be safe. Making some lings is good so they don't dive you with Hellions.
Yeah, that's one thing that I do often get hurt in this matchup with, is my queens are never in position and I never have the right lings at the right time.
For general queen positioning, you want to think about where the greatest concentration of your drones is, which would be your natural and your main. That's the most total. You do have stuff at your third. So the number 1 spot for your queens to just be resting would be right here. Kind of dead center between your natural and their third, so they can pivot to either side. 6 queens. If you get a Viking like this, you can just make like 5 overlords. And then another thing, supply block, you can always expand. Look at all these Vikings. What the hell? Weird. They're getting the smart servos for faster Viking swaps. What a work of art. I've never seen this.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the third, I didn't know if this was supposed to be some kind of like Penguin Brothers thing.
Mm-hmm. What is Penguin Brothers?
That's one of Euthermal's like cheese builds, I guess. He does like a Hellbat Viking timing attack.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's why it's called Penguin Brothers, because they all walk like penguins.
Mm-hmm. That's what they're doing. Oh my god. So just to kind of assess what this is, because every time you face something new, there's that moment of confusion where you're like, wait, what? This is something that would be confusing to me if I was being attacked by this. But just for general units that would be able to beat this, 9 queens would be able to beat all of this, which is funny. That's kind of why this push is bad. Another reason that it's bad is because 8 roaches would also beat this. And if you made maybe like 10 Banes, that would clear the Hellbats, and then your queens could kill the Vikings. So a pretty silly attack. Once again, want to point out the lovely theme of fucking this. So let me know in your games how the Greed Punishment Squad goes, because not a single Terran has built anything resembling any defense at the third.
Yeah, I'll try and focus on that for a few games and see how it goes.
Yeah. The thing that you can do here too, because this base, like they've already done enough damage to it, you're probably not going to save it. You can expand again, which you have this base to fall back to. So you're not actually out anything of value. Whenever Terran is actually committed to attacking you, that's a great time to just run the Lings at the third. You basically would win the game. If you trade 1 hatchery for all their workers at the third, it's pretty much over.
Yeah.
I coached someone, I think it was like maybe a week ago, and we talked about taking fights and thinking about if you're taking the fights on the opponent's terms or on your own terms by when it happens. Because whenever they attack this hatchery, they're saying, hey, I'm creating a battle here, respond to my units. And they put the Hellbats in a spot between the mineral patches where it was kind of bad for your Lings to go in. So for you to take that fight would be agreeing to the Terran's terms.
Yeah.
You can always make your own terms. When they attack this forward base, you say, actually, the fight is happening at your third with a bunch of Lings. And that really takes the momentum from them. Many Terran players, even from Silver League to Diamond, consider themselves to be great multitaskers, when really that's just because Terran is often the aggressor in the matchup. But they don't really think about situations where they're getting savagely counterattacked and attacking at the same time. That's real multitasking. Not whenever they rally 2 drops in different spots and they shift click them. That's just doing a couple things quickly in a row.
Yeah.
What in the earth? Oh. Okay, now their tank count is getting kind of spooky. I would advise Viper. I think that's the best unit to be making here. So another big thing, I would challenge you to try to get a faster hive. Faster hive is very, very good.
Like, what, 8-9 minutes?
Yeah. I think, did I put a time? Let's put a time at the Hydroden infestation pit node. Let's say ballpark 6:30. The infestation pit is very cheap, and the hive itself is also fairly cheap. It's not really going to change that much, like maybe a couple fewer hydras, but you still have a bunch of Lingbane. Cool. Catching them in the field when they're unsieged is something. Hydras unfortunately don't trade well against that off creep. But once again, let's go back and think about the game state and our options. Instead of all of our dudes into all of their dudes, you have the advantage of speed, which means you can choose whether you fight or not all the time. They don't really have that choice. They can hope that you attack into them, and that's really what they're riding on right now. So once again, you have the posture at the 4th, and you can savagely attack the 3rd at the same time. This Terran's 3rd has absolutely nothing, and almost everyone at your bracket is going to F2 their army. This Terran is currently F2ing their army. They have a command center hotkey. They have a 2 group, which has a Marine in it somehow. I don't even know how. And then they have what? Their armories and engineering bay hotkeyed, and their production. So they're F2ing their army around. If you send stuff in their 3rd, and then you retreat, they're going to feel very bad throughout their whole body. And they will whine at you. You have a hive now. Sick. You scoot up to armies a little bit more than you need to. The way that you should pre-split for a fight like this is you box your army in half and then you attack from 2 angles. The Hydras have pretty long range once you have groove spines, and you did get that upgrade. So they should just be A-moved. You don't really need to stutter step them. Stutter stepping them will often cause you to lose damage, or just be move commanded when you could be attack moving. Okay, so right here, you have... Your army is going to be hitting at different times. The Lings are going to get cooked in the back by Hellbats, and the Hydras that are in the back of this group here aren't going to be able to fight for quite a while, because the front ones are kind of blocking them. So ideally, you would have a big arm of stuff on the right to really 360 this, if you wanted to surround it. But the easiest fix is just to counterattack and make your life easier. Just shift, what do you have? Shift 3. You could have 3 as your counterattack group if you wanted to, or 5. But you should just shift those units to a different group. All these Lings go into the 3rd. Taking it easy. Because the Hydra's in the back line here. Didn't really get to do much. And you take a couple volleys into the face whenever you stutter step forward. So it's pretty much universally better to slightly retreat and pivot back into a 2-prong so that you can smash rather than trying to force the issue and shove into their army. That's going to
pull back, split, and then attack move once he moves forward, or as he's moving forward.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you don't need to scoot up Hydras. That's a good micro fix. Hydras, just let them A move and then pull them back whenever the Lingbane is gone. A little bit of over micro of the units, which can happen. Terran players do that really often as well. One of my favorite things is when I watch a Terran player stutter step like fucking Beyond to kill an Overlord that's just sitting there. It's like, bro, you're just tiring your wrists out for no change of the situation. That's why these Diamond Terrans have 350 APM. They stuttered 9 times as they got the Overlord. 2 Vipers right here, totally different fight. The game is over if you have 2 Vipers right now. Side note. You can blind like 6 units at once. Some of the units in the back are kind of stuck. Okay. That's good damage for you though. Upgrade timings could be a little bit sharper here. Production, you got 12 Hydras. Nice damage. Nice damage. Look at this. Holy shit! You have 5 bases injected. Wow. He's a god gamer. I coach all levels of play, so it's actually relatively rare that I get a replay with someone who injected 5 bases at once. Normally I'm like, you know, you need to inject. Nope. He's got the injecting down. He just needs to viciously backstab these greedy thirds. These greedy offensive third bases. Yep, no need to get that. And just clean up these depots, yeah. Clean them up. 2 Viper make it very easy. You have 84 drones, which is pretty good. Pretty respectable. Ultra Cavern. Yep, the Terran's pretty much dead. Very nice. Oh, cool. We can just kill them from here. Terran floating their buildings. Time-honored tradition. And you're on their production, so it's over. It's just taking them a little bit to process it. They're thinking about what they could have done differently. Hey, they GG'd out. Nice. Look at these mannered gamers. All right. Do you want to go one against me playing Terran?
Sure.
Okay. If you pass me lead, I'll just host a ladder map. Or you can do so. Okay. For continuity's sake, let's just do the map that we were on. You sound American, so I'm guessing Central's fine for you.
Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't matter.
Okay, not Zerg. Okay. I'm Assaulted Terran. So to refresh some of the things, rallying your main to the main at a good time, and really just oversaturating your drones, rushing 7 queens, and then before you go into any fights, make sure you're producing units before you commit to the micro. Hatches, larva, lings, or something. You sound American, what a compliment. Depends on who you ask. I have some national pride. I try to keep it at a reasonable level. I don't exactly know builds, so I don't really know. I think you're favored against my Terran. My Terran's like Diamond 2. But it doesn't matter, it's training.
You know all my bad habits now, though.
That's true. This is my drill. Oh shit, you're pool first. Oh fuck, run. Neither of the Terrans that you faced made Reapers. Oh no, one of them, yeah. You fought in the map, I remember now. Second Terran didn't make Reapers.
Yeah.
사령부 업그레이드 완료.
후방 지원 대기 중. 안 좋은 일인가요? 건설로봇 준비 완료. 네. 저승사자가 도착했다. 건설로봇 준비 완료. 뭐예? 그게 다냐? 그렇고 말고 간다. 괜찮. 중요한
검선
일인가?
로봇이 공격받고 있음.
야, 빨리. 왜? 자, 사신이 뭔일? 말해봐라. 오 예. 건설로봇 준비 완료. 누굴 처리해줄까? 네. 하늘에서 죽음이. 건설로봇 준비 완료. 한번 무슨 일? 후방 계속하세요. 건설로봇 준비 완료. 안 좋은 일인가요? 네. 뭔일 있어요? 건설로봇 준비 완료. 건설로봇 준비 완료. 네. 누굴 처리해줄까? 한번 중요한
사령부 업그레이드 완료.
건설로봇 준비 완료. 일대장님 사신이 건설로봇 준비 준비 완료.
부속 건물 완성. 에너지 부족함.
건설로봇 준비 완료. 건설로봇 준비 완료. 말해봐라. 출동 준비 완료. 건설로봇 준비 완료.
Hey,
준비 끝났습니다.
go to my base.
계속 다음은 누구니? 중요한 일인가? 안 좋은 일인가요? 아이, 갑니다. 간다고요. 건설로봇
부속 건물 가동.
목표는 어디 있습니까? 진짜 망했다.
Fuck.
건설로봇 준비 완료.
부속
Excuse my
건물
swearing. I
완성.
swear more on chair and I don't know what I'm doing.
에너지 충분치 않음.
건설로봇 준비 완료. 기다리고 있었습니다. 자, 빨리.
베스핀 가스 더 있어야 함.
건설로봇 준비 완료. 오늘 딱 걸렸어. 건설로봇 준비 완료. 이번엔 확실하겠지. 명령을 내리시. 자, 다들 들었지? 다음은
부속 건물 가동.
건설로봇 준비 완료. 장난 아닙니다.
구성 준비 완료.
광맥 고갈됨.
건설로봇 준비.
에너지 부속 건물 완성.
계속하세요. 무슨 일이죠? 네.
드디어 시작이
안 좋은 일인가요? 건설로봇 준비 완료. 에이, 깜짝이야.
부속 건물 가동. 에너지 부족함.
Scout.
신기술 연구 완료.
건설로봇
보급고 부족함. 대군주가 더 연구 완료.
건설로봇 준비 완료. 건설로봇 준비.
광물 더 필요함.
네.
광물 부족함.
건설로봇
광물 충분치.
건설로봇 준비 완료.
에너지
붙어볼까 일송이.
광물 더 필요함. 광물 충분치 않음.
계속하세요. 무슨 일?
광물지대 말라버림. 추가 보급고 필요함. 광맥
건설로봇 준비 완료. 기다리고 있.
광물지대 말라버림.
구성 준비 완료.
광맥 소진됨. 추가 에너지 부족. 광맥 고
움직여 볼까요?
광맥 소진됨.
갑니다. 간다고. 건설로봇 준비.
에너지 부족함. 병력 광물지대
출동 준비 완료.
연구 완료. 에너지
연료 채웠습니다. 준비 완료.
업그레이드 완료. 광물 부족함. 광물 더 필요함.
기다리고 있. 다음은 네네. 목표는 어디 있습니까?
적이 건설로봇 공격 중. 사령부 업그레이드 완료.
자, 빨리.
드디어 시작이
에너지 충분치 않음.
구성 준비 완료.
연료 채웠습니다. 준비 완료. 건설로봇 준비 완료.
광물 충분치 않음. 광맥 부족함.
출동 준비 완료. 명령을 내리실
사령부 업그레이드 완성.
간다고요. 건설로봇 준비 완료.
아이고 나중에.
건설로봇 준비 완료. 여기 지원이
업그레이드 완료.
몸이 근질근질합니다. 자, 다들 다음은 누구니?
광물지대 말라본.
이번엔 못 쓰겠지. 기다리고 있었습니다. 다음은 누구니? 이번엔 다음은
광맥 소진됨.
자, 기다리고 있었어. 붙어볼까 일송이. 여기 지원이 필요한.
기적이고.
말씀해. 다음은 누구니?
병력 업그레이드됨. 광물 더 필요함. 그곳엔 건설할 수 없음.
드디어 시작이고.
자,
안 좋은 일인가요? 연료 채웠습니다. 준비 완료. 잘못 들었습니다. 다음은 누구니?
Lift.
형님 나가시.
알았다. 본부.
여기 지원이 필요하다.
드디어 시작이고.
자, 내리세요.
계속 싹 모든 시간 낭비 말.
적이 건설 로봇 공격 중.
간다고요.
항로진이 문제 없습니다.
업 에너지
누가 나 좀 구해줘요.
준비 끝났습니다. 무슨 일이죠?
저는 전투 위치로.
하세요. 명령을 내리실 겁니다.
기지가 공격받고 있음.
여기 지원이 필요하다.
에너지 부족함.
출동 준비 완료.
뭐라고요?
이번엔
야.
자, 내리세요.
안 좋은 일인가요? 자, 다들 들었지?
누가 나 좀 구해줘요.
연료 채웠습니다. 준비 완료. 여기
기지가 공격받고 있음.
출격 준비 완료.
기다리고 있었습니다.
건설 로봇이 공격받고 있음. 그곳엔 건설할 수 없음. 기지가 공격받고 있음.
오늘 딱 걸렸어.
에너지 충분치 않음.
연료 채웠습니다. 준비 완료.
Good job.
Thanks.
Yeah, the pull first is obnoxious. It makes you do so much work with the Reaper, even if I have it early. I like that. Sweet. Infestation pin and stuff could be a little bit faster, but that was way faster than the replays you showed me. Your droning looks great. Looks like you made some lings at like 50, which is valid. Ling speed, Bane Nest 348. Layered 420, clap. Love to see that. Great job. Very nice job.
Thanks.
I just on the ramp running down Mig, big macro behind that. Yeah, he got ahead in bases. My eco for Terran was pretty good because I got a quick third orbital. But the mobility is pretty hard. And I tried to leave my third a little bit empty because that's what all of your opponents do. They just want to sit kind of by the fourth. That seems to be what the Terran wants to have happen. They want to pressure you a little bit and then turtle on 4 base, absorb your tier 2 attack, and then hit a big max out. But that game, you didn't really take any bad fights into me, so when you actually did fight, you had tier 3 tech with your lurker. So that was fucking sick. Well, cool. To reiterate the main things that you need to focus on, make units as you trade, get 7 queens as soon as possible, and an overseer with them, especially if it's Banshee. Queens focus the Medivac always if you have the opportunity. And then double macro hatch if you're floating money. Your gas spending was much better that game. Getting up to hive tech really quick. Adrenal glands is super good. And then your win conditions for ZvT are getting your hive tech stuff. Or you do steel command Ling run by whenever they push you. And then also remember the 2-prong stuff where you can do a fake push and then a real push somewhere else. Sweet. Well, awesome working with you, fam. Did you have any other questions before we wrap up? Well done. I don't know if his mic is muted.
No, sorry, I had my microphone muted.
Oh, you're good.
So, I was just gonna say something about like what you said in my chat yesterday about attitude. Like I think trying to visualize it, like you said, like going to the gym or working out or something, rather than like focusing on that rather than the outcome of the game. Because I feel like I was thinking about that, and I think part of the anxiety and stress comes from, like, it feels like playing the slot machine. It's like, you know, I hit the ranked button and I queue a game, and it's like, am I going to win or am I going to lose? And it's like I'm putting so much energy on, like, you know, the outcome of the game being what matters, rather than just kind of like the experience or the, you know, finding something I can learn from, like maybe just shifting what I think is important.
Yeah, I think focusing on your own benchmarks of what times you're getting certain stuff done, and then you're basically just putting your macro out there on the ladder, and then people are going to do different stuff to that. Some Terrans will cheese at you, some Terrans will play really turtly at you. Every time you go into a matchup, you're expanding your knowledge of the matchup by seeing more of what people are doing in the field with Terran or with Protoss or with whatever. So I think of it more so than like evaluating your win-loss. That's a thing that almost everyone defaults to, is they default to a results-oriented mindset of, did I win or did I lose this match? When the real growth-oriented mindset is, what am I working on today? So when you go into your ladder session, we typed out a bunch of notes here in your Discord, but for any given session, you could have like just one of those goals if you're kind of tired that day, of like, okay, today I'm going to try to rush the 7 queens and try to get those fast. Or today I'm going to try to be really quick with my Vayne Nest and my lair timings and things like that. All those are ways that you can relaxingly ladder and know that you're making some gains and you're memorizing stuff, because a huge part of having robust macro is memorizing it on such a deep level that you can be harassed and you can be under pressure and you still remember to do that. So you need to put in a lot of reps. The way that I did it when I was first pushing GM was I actually had a ladder volume goal where I said, I want to play at least 700 ladder games this season. And that was my goal. Rather than getting GM right now, I need to put in a bunch of laps. So just by being in that space and being in that kind of stressful vortex of the ladder, you're, for one, getting the reps in of being able to push the buttons and improve as a player. But for two, you're gaining knowledge about what Terrans at your bracket are doing. So in a sense, every match is a scout of the meta. And that's value for yourself, even if you lose, especially if you lose. Because if you lose, and the replays that you sent me didn't have this, but say, for example, Uthermal has a new silly Hellbat All-In, and he makes a video of it, and you ladder and someone kills you with that. That's a really valuable resource for, okay, why did I die to this? When should I have made units, and where should I have taken the fight? That's something that gives you power every time. So the bulletproof way to have your mindset when you look at the ladder is either I rank up and I kick ass, or I gain some knowledge of the different bullshit that's happening and I can immediately figure out how to counter that. So it's field psychology research. We're getting to see what Diamond Terrans do. And what did we learn about Diamond Terrans today, chat? They have fuck all at their third base. It's very disrespectful. A lot of people do that. They have a big army, and if they're attacking you, your first thought is, I need to defend myself, because that's natural. You invested in your bases, you want to defend your bases. It's unnatural to see someone running at you and being like, I'm going to go fuck up your house. That doesn't really register as people's first instinct whenever they're going to run at you with guns. I'm going to shoot you. And it's like, well, yeah, well, I'm going to go attack your house. It doesn't make sense. But in StarCraft, it's super, super strong because it gives them 2 problems instead of 1 problem. They are trying to dictate the terms of the engagement and get you to play their game. But whenever you face all these people, you can see what they're trying to do. You can see what they're trying to accomplish. And you refuse that. You refuse to engage their tank Thor when it's sieged up off creep. You say, I see your slow army right there, and I will let you keep that gift over on that side of the map, and I will send a big problem for you far from that place, because almost no one that you're going to fight is going to use multiple groups. So if you can just split the second group, have a bunch of lings, that's going to be massive. I would say like maybe 100 games against Terran where you split off lings into another group. After you've done 100, it should be pretty automatic to you, and you should be more of a multi-prong player, because that's going to be what Master Zergs are doing that Diamond Zergs are not doing. So these Diamond Terrans are going to fold super hard if you can kind of ascend to that next level. Your droning has been great. Like, of your macro fundamentals for a player at your level, your injects are well above par, which is awesome. So you have a lot of larva. It's more so about where do you apply that larva on the map. And every match basically teaches you a lesson. Either you get a data point of, okay, that worked, that's cool, or it didn't work. All of that is just kind of like you plugging in different numbers into a math equation. It doesn't really need to be that stressful. And the stress that you feel, just to kind of visit the psychology of it, we were fed a lot of psychology in the 90s and the aughts that stress was a bad thing, and that if you're stressed, it is associated with negative health outcomes. But that research is kind of questionable. And
it's a healthy amount of stress in the middle somewhere.
Yeah, stress is something that wakes up your body to something that's important that you care about and you want to be successful. So if you feel a little bit of energy, a little bit of adrenaline, embrace that. Your opponent also feels that. So you're kind of descending into this stressful space with someone else who agrees to box with you. And that's honorable and awesome and really cool. So enjoy the stress, let it hype you up and be a bit of energy fuel for yourself, rather than something that, oh no, I'm stressed, I need to resist this. I get stressed, especially when I play another big streamer. If they have a whole bunch of viewers or something, I know that I now have double or more of the eyes watching this match, and they really care. So I used to get really nervous about that, and I would play worse. But then I started to think about it of, no, this is a normal expected reaction from me, and this is how my body kind of processes, okay, this one has more at stake, and that's fine. So by not resisting it and by accepting that my body responds that way, it doesn't really snowball to, oh no, I'm anxious, so now I'm more anxious, that kind of spiral sort of thing. So accept the stress, welcome the stress, and then focus on what you're learning in that matchup. And that way it doesn't matter whether you win or lose, it doesn't matter if your opponent is better or worse than you, because you're getting in that exercise like your laps in the pool and like your reps at the gym.
Got it.
Hell yeah.
That was very helpful.
Awesome. Well, great working with you. Your macro is very strong. Get it some ling run buy-in and you will just murder everybody and get into masters.
That's the plan.
Hell yeah.
All right, well, I really appreciate your time.
Hell yeah. Appreciate the support and getting some coaching. Best
Thanks.
of luck to you, MedTech, and remember...
Swarm them.
Nice.
Let's fucking go. Caps to all of you shooting. Good job, good job. Good job.